Man, welcome to MAddOG'S After Show. You're along for the ride with the Mad Dog and Cole, the All-American Farrell.
Hey, pass me a beer.
I decided to fly through the air and live in the sunlight and enjoy life as much as I could, and that's just what I'm doing.
Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure? Stay calm. Wait.
Man, it never gets old opening up with those great words from the incredible Mr. Evel Knievel, one of my personal childhood heroes. Just flying through the air, living in the sunlight and enjoying life. Dude, we're really all so blessed to be able to live life,
Yeah, and you know what else never gets old is thanking our first responders and our men and women of the armed forces. Let us do this podcast. That never gets old.
No, you're absolutely right. And a special thank you and shout out to the families of those who really gave all, the families of those KIA and still POW. Thank you so much. Great respect for all of our service people here at the After Show. Man, speaking of great respect and being thankful, we are so thankful for our great partners and sponsors, Kicker Performance Audio. Find them online, kicker.com, on Instagram at Kicker Audio, on Facebook, Kicker, and every other Tuesday night live with Kicker Unmasked Live on their YouTube channel and Facebook. J-Dub and Ern and the crew do a great job. If you want to learn tech tips or anything, hit them up there. For all your car, truck, boat, motorcycle, off-road audio needs and personal audio needs, check them out, kicker.com. Of course, Bomber Eyewear, Bomber Safety Eyewear, Bomber Floating Eyewear, Bomber Bitchin' Eyewear. It is really the bitchinest eyewear out there. It is Mad Dog approved. It is OSHA approved. If you get the NC87 safety lens like I'm wearing tonight in the limited edition Mana Series Boogie Bomb Black, white frames with black logos, Mana print on the side, and a special Mad Dog edition mirror green polarized safety lens. And they float. Over 40 styles of frames, so many combinations of lenses I can't even begin to start. Find them online, bombereyewear.com, on Instagram at bombereyewear. Of course, the Premix podcast and our dude Cole, man, sharing his passion for all things desert racing through the lens of a camera. Also, motorcycle racing, track racing, GP racing, and a great and gifted announcer and MC. Line him up, slide into his DMs at the Premix podcast on Instagram. That is the @ symbol ThePremixPodcast. Hit him up, get him booked.
Killed it.
Spaces booking fast.
Yeah. That's actually not a joke.
No, it's true. I know your schedule. We're going to get into that in just a minute. But of course, Kelsey Morrell Film, working magic from our video blunders to make a smooth transition to our YouTube where you can actually see our ugly faces talking to you. Everything you need in video and still pictures and production from inception to final production. Find her on Instagram at Kelsey Morrell Film. Of course, Hey Keeks Marketing, helping us out with that incredible logo you see right behind our good dude Cole, and all our Instagram templates, helping us out with video stuff for the Instagrams, everything you need in marketing from social media platforms built to social media campaigns with influencers to websites built, shopping carts added, websites maintained, everything you need. Yell, Hey Keeks, or just find her online, heykeeks.com, or on Instagram at Hey Keeks Marketing. Dude, I got to tell you, I'm on a roll. We're rocking and rolling tonight. I know how tight your time frame is. Apologize to all our listeners. We had a week gap there.
Yes, we did.
Yeah,
A week long gap, not a week gap. It was a strong gap, week long.
It was a strong work gap, a week long. Yeah, I was on the East Coast, which we'll get into in a little bit. But the hours I was working did not put me in a good position to be able to record last week. So I do apologize, but we're back. We're back on track, and the after show is stronger than ever.
Spring a dish.
Yes, indeed.
Almost summer a dish. Almost
Right?
summer a dish.
It felt like summer here yesterday, man.
was-
I think it was 98. So
Damn.
we're getting close.
It was like raining here today, so it sure doesn't feel like it.
Wow,
Actually,
crazy.
Gloomy right now.
Craziness.
Makes
dude.
for better dirt, but I'm not
Yeah.
using the dirt.
Yeah, speaking of gloomy and good dirt, man, I went for the first time with Team Kicker, of course, out to American Flat Track Short Track at Ventura Raceway, legendary Ventura Raceway. I met a dude out there named Mike. Shout out, Mr. Mike. He has been working at that track since the 70s.
That's crazy. That's what you said. 40 years he's been there.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
It's insane. Guy knows that whole area in and out. It's just awesome. The dirt there is really different, and of course, it's right literally on the beach. I mean, you can see the waves breaking from the parking lot of the raceway. It's just it's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's the only better thing than hearing the crashing waves is the sound of the engines, I was going to say crashing bikes, but that's not what I meant to say.
Right.
Because that wall was unforgiving. I just watched it on TV. Shout out Scotty Dubler. But man, yeah, I know we got into it last week talking about the actual race itself. But like I said, I just saw it on TV last Sunday. Man, that wall is just not forgiving on the straightaways. How those guys were coming out of 4 and just parking it right against the wall.
Oh man, I wish I could have seen the racing. Unfortunately, my setup was outside the grandstands. I did get to see some of the practice.
Good.
So that was good, and yeah, like you were saying, I mean, these guys were literally inch from the outside wall at the apex of the straight.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be
for
an
it.
apex in the straight, but yeah, they were laying the boots to it, and man, I guess it was absolutely fantastic racing. The soil there, the track composition is a combination of kind of like small pea gravel, sand, and clay. So I wasn't sure, and I didn't get to look at the track during the program, but you saw it on TV. How'd the track hold up? I mean, they were working the crap out of it.
I mean, I wish Scotty was here to talk about this because he actually knows what he's talking about. But what was so crazy, and it happens so many times during the night, I hope you get 5 minutes to watch some of the highlights or whatever, but
I intend to.
But they're on the throttle in the corners like normal.
Yeah.
But they would start to lean the bike up when they start to get on the straightaway, and the things would hook up, and everybody was turning in a Larry loop out. You could see so many guys, the front end would be 12 inches off the ground, and they would have to shut it off on the straightaway because it was so smooth in the corner, and then it would just bite so unexpected, and it was so like the front end seemed fine, but it just seemed like the guys got so caught off guard so often, especially in Super Twins. It was really exciting. Probably not that fun to ride, but it sure was exciting to watch.
Yeah, and I actually Fast Track Racing posted on their Instagram a picture of Breyer coming out of the corner, and I actually sent it over to Scotty. Speaking of Scotty, because I'm like, dude, look at the tire roll on that thing, and he goes, yeah, low pressure and monster hookup. So
Wow.
you called it, you nailed it for sure. Great analysis.
I feel like it's such a, I mean, that's any motorsport, but what a dangerous game to try to lower the pressure as low as you can without getting into huge issues, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Scott, that opened the whole conversation actually with Scotty about tire pressures on the bikes, and I was like, "Wouldn't aren't you concerned about like heat in the tire?" And he goes, "Nah, not on a short track."
Oh, okay. But
I'm
if it
like,
was
"Huh."
longer, then yeah, then you'd be extremely concerned, I'm sure. But
Yeah,
wow.
I mean, we when we were circle track racing, I ran extremely low pressure in the left front tire.
Oh, yeah.
So when they did come off the throttle and the car set to the left, it set really hard. Um, and that car just, I mean, there was a lot more geometry and stuff to it, magic and trigonometry. Um, but the car the one car in specific, um man, you couldn't let go of the steering wheel if you were cruising across the pits because it would just go hard left instantly.
Just like a sprint car.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like
Would you
you
get like weird premature wear on the left front after that, or was it pretty matched with the right front? Because obviously the right front's taking all the load, you know?
Yeah, no, the right front would feather because sportsman class we had to run a treaded tire. uh
Oh, gotcha.
uh sorry, street stock, we ran a treaded tire. So they would feather. That's the car we ended up going to Sportsman. We ran a 7-inch slick. On the slicks, the way I like to set the chassis up, yes, we would get some very, very interesting left front wear. Um, and I
Uh,
don't want to give away too many secrets.
that's fair. Yeah, I'm sure you got some spy photos somewhere. Take a peek
But
at those.
yeah, I actually I have an entire binder of notes still.
That's
Um,
cool.
yeah, it's in storage up north, but yeah, I have every year, every car. And at one point we ran 5 cars on the team, and I crew chiefed all of them. So it's a
Wow.
lot of
Oh yeah,
notes
we
over.
talked. Yep, just talked about that. 5 cards. I couldn't believe it. Almost thought it was a hiccup on your part, but nope, that confirms it. 5 cars.
Yeah, yeah,
Damn.
it was just and every car ran a different class, and so with the exception of the two girls that ran the hobby stocks, and they ran in the same class, but they were completely different cars. So,
So might as
it's
well have been different classes at that point.
yeah, yeah. Ended up one being a Nova and one being a Camaro, but it started out one being an Impala and one being a
Oh, okay.
Camaro. So, yeah, it was totally different. Leaf sprung rear end to coil sprung rear end. Um, and different driving techniques, different levels of aggression. So definitely two different setups completely. But anyways, we're off on a tangent. Ventura, wow, just so amazing, such a historic venue. You
Yeah.
know, there's just so much history there, and for a track like that to exist in California, I mean,
Yeah.
dude, it's especially right on the beach. I mean, it's amazing. So,
Yeah, hopefully it's
um,
protected for a long time, but stands were full. There was a lot of big name riders there. I mean, crossover stuff. Jeff Imming was there. I think
yeah,
Ricky Johnson was hanging out. Just cool. Just wake. And sorry, another tangent, but I was laughing when we were watching on TV, and it was Ralph Shaheen and Scotty, of course, and Kristen Beat and everybody. And I'm laughing. I'm like, man, I'm like, I know all these people that, because of this podcast or,
Yeah.
and the videos you sent me, I had Ralph send me on special moments. So I don't know. It was just cool. It was a nice little nostalgic kick.
Yeah, it is. It's really cool, and they're good people, and Ralph has agreed to come on the show. We just have to get the scheduling dialed, and so I know that'll be fun. And if you haven't had a chance to check it out, check out his new all racing venture channel, streaming channel called Speed Sport.
Yeah, a lot of cool stuff on there. And that was
Yeah.
funny. I watched that for a long time before I knew that was his deal, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
Well, and they just announced this evening that they are now available on Amazon Prime.
Oh, sweet. I got that.
Yeah, me too. I was like, I knew it was coming, but I should have bought stock, I guess, whatever.
Oh, well.
I'm not that smart. I know we're short on time tonight. I kind of want to blast through Ventura, but couple things I want to hit on is how great it was to see Kristen made a special trip over just to say hi. Always such a spark plug, such an inspiration. Scotty and I got to hang out and BS quite a bit. And I actually have a voice clip from him
Oh,
that
sweet.
I've forgotten I got. Yeah, I totally spaced that I had it. And I will send that over to you, and
All
maybe you
right.
can put it at the end of the show.
Maybe. Play your cards
So,
right.
yeah. So look for a clip if Cole's in the right mood, a clip from Scotty. Hey, guess who we got on the after show right now? The one and only, the man with the smile and that good hair, Scotty Dubler. What's up, buddy?
Not much, man. I'm just glad to be out here in California, Southern California. It's kind of cool out, but we're right by the beach, and they put a racetrack right here.
Yeah, iconic, legendary raceway here. We are in Ventura, and give us a little insight. What are we going to see? What did we see last year?
Well, last year was the first time we were here, so everybody didn't have any notes. So it's like a few of the riders had been here before, but as far as American Flat Track, they'd never been here. The dirt is loose. It's like almost like a pea gravel.
Yeah, I
but
noticed
it's
that.
dirt. It's not rocks, and they're going to try to keep dragging it. They're going to try to put a lot of moisture in it. With the cloud coverage we have today, it's cooler out. It should keep the track really racy. Last year, we had Cody Kopp winning the singles class. You had Dallas Daniels winning the twins class. I'm expecting maybe some new winners. Now that we've got some
Really?
seat time, I think not new winners as far as flat track, but
Right.
maybe not the same winners as last year. The track will go through a lot of changes, so who's going to adapt to the changes? It's going to be a lot looser early. It'll kind of dry out a little bit. I think in the twins main event, we had a line on the bottom, and Lauren, they went 39 laps last year in the Super Twins class.
Whoa.
So
They were cranking.
so fitness will
Yeah.
be a factor too. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying that for, because it's going to be, you ride a short track, elbows up, you slide up on the gas tank going into the corners, you slide back on the back of the seat coming off the corners, and it's a lot. It's physically demanding. You think about motocross and stuff like that, how physical demanding it is. It's similar because you're moving all over the motorcycle.
Right.
The track's far from flat. It's far from easy. It's going to be a great short track.
Yeah, speaking of far from flat, that's something that really, really piqued my interest. Was this track has, I'm guessing, probably 4 6-degree straights, bank straights, and probably 14-degree or so bank
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's going to be fast.
It is a bank track, which will hold you in the corners a little bit more. I think last year they're kind of bouncing off the back straightaway wall. They're almost making a circle out
Right.
of the back straightaway.
Yeah.
So you don't you don't have time to rest. You barely have time to reach up and grab the tear off, and that might be a factor too, Lauren. If the track stays wet and there's a lot of roost, be smart with your tear offs. You got to have vision. You got to see where you're going.
Yeah, I was actually talking about that with Brian this morning because I'm like, it looks like kind of a pea gravel with clay and sand.
Right.
And I said, if you're back in 4th or 5th or 10th, you're going to eat a lot of roost. You wouldn't be surprised to see some guys with some roost guards on.
Definitely, maybe even some hand guards, you know, just to protect things. And then also, like at Lima, you try not to follow anybody too close because the stuff coming off the back tire in front of you is hitting you going the other direction at a high rate of speed. So try not to follow somebody, make a new line, and hopefully we got a good racy track tonight.
Yeah, heck yeah. I hope it turns into a bunch of lines and I know everybody's looking forward to hearing you up there on the TV and over the intercom. So, Scotty, thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thanks a lot, Mad Dog.
We'll talk to you soon.
Yep.
Had a great chance to talk to Ralph, and I just want to give a special shout out Cameron, Robbie, Bob, the amazing American Flat Track crew. Such great people. Always looking after me, always taking good care of me. I actually drove Cameron's rental car. We went to I can't remember where it was, a speed shop, which is a shop that's building the new Honda Super Twins program. And it's also the shop that houses one of the world's fastest piston powered cars. I think currently the fastest piston powered car.
Jeez.
Yeah, and the cars were there. They're building a 4-cylinder motorcycle chassis that's shaped like a spaceship. I sent you Snapchats, all that.
Yeah, that was cool.
Dude, it was so crazy. They had this big hospitality thing Friday night, and I was like, well, I don't know. And of course, Cam was like, no, you're going. So I ended up going, rode with him in his Maserati rental SUV, which I'll talk about in just a second. But ended up being able to spend quite a bit of time just talking to Ralph and spent a lot of time with him. And as it turns out, we know a lot of the same people. We happen to be talking about the Scramble series, which I'll get to in just a second, the Red Bull Scramble series. And he said, yeah, I was just messaging Mia. And I'm like, oh, I've known Mia. I was like her first sponsor, so.
Small world stuff.
Yeah, it was crazy. So we had to take a selfie and send it over to her and send her, positive thoughts and prayers as she's healing from, broken vertebrae from Texas Scramble, ranch scramble in Texas. But anyways, yeah, man, incredible. And I got to talk to the guy that actually drives the cars, the land speed cars.
I think they're pilots at that point if you're going that fast.
I would consider him that. His name is Steve, and man, he's just an interesting guy. So cool, and just creative. And it's I learned a lot just looking at what they were building and what they have been running, and just asking questions. And I think he found it refreshing that somebody wasn't just there for the free beer,
Oh, yeah, that is probably nice.
So, anyways.
Somebody actually cared.
Yeah. So, it's just super cool. And it was a great time hanging out there with Scotty and Ralph and Cameron, Robbie. I mean, just really cool. A lot of the riders were there. So it was neat. On to race day, man. They knocked out race day. It went by fast. I don't have results or anything because I wasn't prepared very well. So anyway, we called it night. They wrapped it up, and I packed up and all the way up and loaded the Kicker Razor and hauled back to the hotel, which was in Oxnard, which we talked about how you feel about Oxnard.
Yeah.
In the last podcast or the podcast before. So yeah, we'll leave that one run. And man, 6:29 in the morning, I was rolling out of the hotel.
You had a tight turnaround.
Yeah, I did have, man. I had to get back home, get the Razor unloaded, get the trailer unhooked, do a load of laundry, wish Viking a happy Mother's Day. spent a little bit of time with her and repack a suitcase, head to Vegas. Got to Vegas, checked in the hotel, overnighted there, jumped on a flight first thing the next morning, um, and flew into Philly where I met part of the Red Bull Scramble Series Ops team, the States and Kingdoms team. And, before I get any further, shout out and thank you, Eric, Tess, Butts, the general. Man, thank you all so much for bringing me in. And, it was an interesting scramble. The team got together. We trucked out to Wildwood, New Jersey, and right there at Maurice Pier, Butts and his ground crew have been working on building a racetrack. They had lost a day to rain, but they were making good progress, and they had just had there was a lot of moving parts because the rental companies and city were cleaning up all the stuff they had set up for the Trump rally the weekend before we got there. And so it was like all our stuff was moving in with the rental company while another group from the rental company was moving all the stuff the
great.
city and county had set up, moving that out. So
Yeah, that gets frustrating. It's not like you're working with a clean slate by any means.
yeah, no, but it was good. The fence company had a big jump and had our area cordoned off early. Um, Much bigger jump than last year, way ahead of last year. Got a lot of stuff done. Super Mario P driving the Red Bull rig, got there early, and man, it was just game on, getting things set up and getting ready, get pits lined out, and there's a lot of logistics that go into um, racing on the beach in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That sentence almost sounds fake.
right. Um, I hope you caught some of the racing because it was amazing.
Man, I missed it, and I don't know if my algorithm wasn't popping up on YouTube side of things. I mean, I saw all the Instagram stuff,
Yeah,
but yeah, I'll let you get right back into it.
dude, it was crazy. Great track, completely different from last year. Um,
More
every
room,
bit
right?
as long. Yeah, what's that?
They had more room to work with this year. Is that or
We
no?
Yeah, we actually pushed a little further north and took a little bit out of the south end. We were just south of Maurice last year for part of it, and this year the beach run was shorter, but we were pushed north a little bit more, and it was a lot more short coursey in the infield.
Okay.
But it was definitely well thought out. Butts and his team did a great job of laying it out. It was action everywhere. Um, they had a crew come in that they work with X Games and build a 3 foot tall, I'm not quite sure how long, um, ramp in the front stretch, all wood ramp.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
yeah, like a little ski jump ramp. Super cool. Everybody was hitting it, it was great. I mean, there's no option but to hit it, but it was really, really cool. The Red Bull show car, the 4-seat car, unfortunately had suffered a bent lower trailing arm, right rear in Texas, and I'm sure Texas was obviously was hard on a lot of people, and you look Mia and every people having to rebuild their cars and stuff. So, but fortunately had the parts, and I changed that out. The electric shock wiring was also damaged. I changed that out at one point, and there's actually uh, one of the safety team guys, and shout out to all those guys, Donovan, Rob, Jason, everybody else on the team, because those guys pitched in and helped me. a little bit, getting it put back together. So I'm grateful for
There
that
you
for
go.
sure. And yeah, I had changed trailing arm on a Can-Am, which I'd never done, but it's just nuts and bolts, right?
Was it was it comparable to what you thought it would be?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
Yeah, okay.
it's pretty much what I expected. So, not as easy as some, better thought out than others.
Okay.
So, you
You win
know,
some, you
um,
lose some.
yeah, yeah. So, but it worked out. The toughest part was pressing out the uniball for the end truck arm
Oh
to
yeah.
frame, um, which turned out to be a waste of time because I pressed the uniball out and it was internally fractured.
Oh no.
Yeah, so we had to get one of those, but I when you don't have a press, you get inventive. And special thank you to my dad and of course the fat cat himself, Mike Lane, and my brothers for instilling in me the ability to solve mechanical issues. And it's amazing what you can do with a long threaded bolt and a couple of oversized sockets.
There you go. Okay.
Just built myself a mechanical press.
Yep.
And it worked just fine. So um yeah, man, got that sucker together, and we went live Friday for press rides. That was super cool. I think they had Seth running the Seth Quintero episode, I'm not sure, um, running the four-seater, and then AJ Jones was running the two-seater. And at one point, I had to go down and check a possible uh, foot traffic situation down at
Again.
the beach. Yeah, and I went around the outside of the race course, inside the fencing, and in my cart, which we had no side by sides. They don't qualify as side by sides. They were Polaris Pro Series, I guess, Rangers diesel. Um, they sucked a
I
lot.
I didn't know that even the diesel thing was a thing.
Yeah, they're pretty much like a commercial work vehicle, and they suck. They just suck. They're slow. Um, they're lame. They're uncomfortable. They have no suspension. Um, yeah, nothing worked on
So you
them.
didn't hit the 3 foot ramp.
I did not.
Okay.
I would
Noted.
have liked to have ghost rode every single one of them off a 100-foot cliff.
Left him in the
Um,
ocean.
yeah, easily. Like put a brick on the pedal and let it do 14 miles an hour wide open into
Just
the
say
ocean.
bye.
Yeah, it turns out you can adjust the pedal limiter to an extent, but you still only get about 23, which for
Painfully slow when you got places to be.
yeah, when you're trying to secure fences and gates that are, you know, 3/4 of a mile apart, it's definitely a slow trip. But probably one of the coolest things actually was when I went down there to check on the situation, came around the end of the racetrack, and AJ was just coming out onto the beach, and it made a hard right out onto the beach. And here he comes out onto the beach, just wide open throttle. Like, man,
Just everything it had.
everything it had, full four-wheel drift. It was just so rad.
It's probably
I
so
don't
fun.
think he even saw me, but it looked so cool. I might have pooped a little bit because I was like, man, it's a good thing I could tell it was AJ, so I wasn't too worried. But
And that was during the press rides too.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, so it was pretty cool. But yeah, man, they got through all that, and everybody got through safe, and no equipment were harmed and no reporters were harmed, unfortunately, but it was all good. And and it was kind of funny, and I'll get into that in a minute. But then race day was on, um, And if you remember at Sand Scramble, I had an issue with a photographer that was quite rude. And turned out that same photographer was at Beach Scramble.
Lame. Boo.
He was quite humble.
Okay.
I don't want to go into details, but
Turning a new leaf.
he was quite humble, and obviously I still don't like him, but
Wow.
whatever, but he was doing everything he could to make me like him. So
Kiss ass. No.
I feel happy about that. So
That's good.
anyway, yeah, man. Race day, it was on, dude. The fields were packed. Like 2 or 3 weeks before registration had closed due to maxed out.
Wow, it's a bummer that some people don't get to race, but it's awesome to see that they're hitting their limits. I mean, dude, I don't even have a side by side, and I would try to figure out a way to go do that race. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, there was probably 80 total side by sides there.
Wow. Yeah, and could have had more.
Yeah, for
Jeez.
sure. So it was just rad, man. And just so crazy, great racing. I got to see some of it, there's just some really cool things that stick in my mind. Like the dirt crew that was managing the track in between heats and etc. I took them out some water and snacks early in the day, and man, I went and got a couple of 12-inch, small pizzas, and hauled those out to them in between while they were out there fixing the track between two heats. And it was just cool,
Oh,
because
they were stoked.
they were so stoked and so grateful, and they're great dudes, but it made me feel good to know that they were not only really appreciative, but they were out there beating themselves to death, keeping that track up as fast as they could. And so just to give them a little fuel and a little feels good,
That's way
dude,
cool.
so rad. And yeah, there's just so many cool things about being out there. I mean, the travel out there, the flights suck.
Yeah, it's a long way to go.
It is, and long time to sit in a tuna can with wings, or Coors Light can with wings, or a
Hey.
seltzer can with wings, or whatever. But it was, just crazy good racing. I got to see AJ, I got to see Seth, got to see Corbin and Shelby, his wife, Shelby, formerly Shelby Anderson, who I'd worked with and raced. She was one of the girls I sponsored way back in the day.
Crazy.
So it's nuts. And Corbin ended up winning. Congrats to him.
That is awesome.
Won the pro class. Got to meet a lot of nice local people and local racers. Got to meet a few a-holes, and
I mean, it is New Jersey.
yeah, so is what it is. And man, it's just it was crazy. It was crazy. It was just on the throttle all day race day, and Mia was out there. Of course, her dad, Super Joe, was out there. Bobby Van Beekum, Ryder Chapman, Ryder Van Beekum. And I'm so proud of those two boys, I mean, RVB, Ryder Van Beekum, when I met him the first time, he was in his daddy's arm in diapers.
That's so funny.
And now they were putting down times in the sportsman class almost up there with the pros.
So you think next year be pro class, or?
I think they'll have to be, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. After we had this whole talk about sandbagging last year or last episode. No.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, and those two guys, it did my heart good. They both had issues, but it did my heart good that they, they both made the main, sportsman main, and man, when they dropped the flag, those two by the first term probably had 15 car length hold shot over
Wow,
everybody.
jeez.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. They were just on it, and um, uh, unfortunately, they were both really fast, but unfortunately, their cars were set up for more short course stuff.
Okay.
So RVB um, packed so much sand into his rack and pinion and the area around the rack and pinion that it actually seized the rack and pinion.
Damn, I didn't even think about that being a possibility.
Yeah.
New fear
And
unlocked.
Mia's little brother, so to speak, little brother, Ryder Chapman, packed so much sand in that his electric power steering failed.
Jeez.
And about six laps in, I think it was, and RVB like had to drop out like 5 laps in, and so Chapman took over the lead for a lap, and then he started slowing down. I think he ended up fighting his way back through to fourth.
So he was
But
still able to physically steer the car, but just had no power steering.
yeah, he could. Van Beekam's steering completely seized.
Locked up. Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was just so packed with sand that it wouldn't move. It was just completely like locked in concrete.
Because it's really tacky, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And it was wet. Like it was very wet. I mean, literally the fence line where the closed course, uh, I mean, they were running on the beach.
Right.
Like at high tide in the afternoon, they were probably running within 5 feet of the waves or
Oof.
the water.
Yeah. Better watch those cars after you're done for the day. My goodness. Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't want to throw those things in the trailer and haul them all the way back to the West Coast. It will not be the
Right.
same car.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But it was a great race day. And then after the pro main, I got to happen to be over by Mario's rig, checking in on some stuff. And Seth and AJ and another racer were there. And as it turned out, that other racer, when I walked up, was Scott Speed.
Oh, yeah. I
Um,
saw that he was getting some tips.
Yeah, well, after the race, they were laughing, and I walked up and hit Seth on the back, and sand went everywhere, and we all had a good laugh, and I said something about, does his mom know where he's at, or that he's playing in the sand or something like that. We were all having a good laugh while they're just joking around. That was super cool, and I didn't you know I just fist bumped them all. I'm not that guy.
Nope.
So I just fist bumped them all, said, glad you guys all finished, glad you're all safe and had a good race. Hope you have fun, and see y'all soon. I got work to do. So, but it was really cool. And on that, Scott Speed, if you don't know, Google him, but he's a IndyCar racer, rally racer, and it was quite the education for him to get in the side by side, and especially a race like Beach Scramble, where I mean, by the end of the pro main, the ruts were skid plate deep.
Yeah. It's like, do you follow in the lines? Do you try to square them up like a motorcycle? It's such a new event. I feel like even the pro class guys are learning each year because it's not anything you would race any other point of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was really cool, and actually, he was running Mia Chapman's number
Okay.
because the rules state if you can have another driver run one race to maintain your points.
So that was the race.
That was the race. So, and Mia was out there. She was wearing her turtle shell brace, and I got to spend some time with her, and that was really cool. Rebel put on a very nice social Friday night at the restaurant and bar in the first floor of our hotel that we were staying in. So I got to hang out with her and Super Mario and of course the team bunch of the ops team and even little time with Seth and Scott and AJ
Cool.
and all those guys. So it was really cool, and super shout out to Josh from Red Bull East. He's the marketing coordinator out there, and what an amazing job. What a cool guy to work with. Red Bull is very blessed to have Chris on the West and Josh on the East. They're both great guys, and they both share the passion and the stoke. So it's just a huge deal. But man, that was so much fun. But then of course you go right into strike or pack up, and as soon as the race is over, we have ops teams out there pulling branding and pulling scrim and
Yeah.
you know, and then go as far as you can that day, and Saturday you just go back at it. And I still had security tasks, of course, and still had, because we had equipment working out there the whole time and all that. So it was just rad. I mean, we got broke down, we got packed up, we all went for or Sunday, sorry, race day was Saturday. I've lost track of days completely.
It's all a blur.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So Sunday, we got her all wrapped and went and had a really nice dinner at this place we'd eaten at a couple times called Mud Hen. Definitely good food. If you're ever in Wildwood, New Jersey, I would highly recommend Mud Hen Brewing. Woo! As a challenge. Yeah. And then, it's just wrap it up, pack it up. And bunch of the crew flew out Monday morning, one of them being me. So we loaded up and drove back to Philly. We got there early enough. The guys really wanted to see the Liberty Bell. And so we did the basically 40-minute speed walk express tour of downtown Philly, Jefferson's Garden, I believe Jefferson or Washington's original foundation of the home.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, the original buildings. And we saw the Liberty Bell. We did not wait in line to do the actual walkthrough tour, but you can take pictures from outside. So I did.
Sweet.
Yeah, it was super cool.
It's Americana.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when you think about it, 1776, Liberty Bell and all that, and where this country really garnered its independence and struck out for what was right and crushed what was wrong. And, we're all about that. We are all about freedom and liberty. So, super happy about being able to see some history like that. And then it was, on the tin can and back to Vegas and the rip home, and man, and been on the gas since. So it took a little bit of time yesterday afternoon to just chill a bit, but I've had a bunch of running around to do, getting ready. Got this Memorial Day weekend coming up where I'm off, and then Wednesday I'm on my way to Gallup, New Mexico for Kicker Monster Truck Tour doubleheader.
Good old Gallup.
Yeah, Red Rock Natural Amphitheater Arena, which should be a good time. And that's where we started 2 years ago, was in Gallup, New Mexico, in the Patriot Hotel. Detroit. I believe it's Comfort Suites. It's all dedicated to our POWs, MIAs, and veterans. It's a stop on the Run for the Wall ride, and just an amazing facility. And since we're into that, I want to give a special shout out to one of my dear, dear friends, and just such a humble veteran, Big Dog Don Home, who is wrapping up his first run to the wall, ran the whole central route.
Hell yeah.
And dude, he carries, do your research on that. If folks, if you don't know, or tune in to last year's Memorial Day episode where was it Memorial Day or was it Gallup Monster Trucks where I talked about the run to the wall and the impact it had on me emotionally, just seeing all the bikes and driving by all the bikes and running with them for a while, in the old red, white, and blue grinder. Man, it's their mission is amazing. What they do is incredible. And I'm really thankful, going
Yeah.
into this weekend. We want to be sure and remember, all gave some gave all,
Yeah.
This Memorial Day is not just bikinis, babes, boats, and barbecues and beers.
No. I mean, obviously we get to enjoy those things, but yeah, lot deeper meaning, and we talked about this in Veterans Day. It's Veterans Days for the veterans and Memorial Days for those who didn't come back. So keep
Yeah,
that on your heart.
yeah, absolutely. And God bless the families and the souls that we have lost. Man, when I didn't think about it while we were walking around Philly, but then on the flight, as we're coming up to Memorial Day and thinking back to all the things that our service people have gone through from the inception of the United States of America, man, how lucky are we
Oh, for sure.
to have citizens that will put their lives on the line, risk it all for us.
Yeah, it's a unfathomable amount of thankfulness, but it's crazy to think what they sacrificed and what they did for people they didn't even know or care about. Like yeah, there's thinking all the way back to the Revolutionary War, and we won't make a whole tangent of this, but it's like think about what we get to celebrate 200, to over 200 years later because of what those men did. Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. It's amazing, and just so thankful. I can't even, like you said, fathomable. I can't even really put my gratefulness or my thoughts clearly into words of thankfulness,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. And man, just to be able to do what we do is because of all those people.
1,000%. 1,000%. Yeah. A lot of countries we couldn't jump on a podcast and say what we want and post what we want, and yeah, that is a freedom that should not be taken lightly.
No, I always think about, growing up, going to school in Canada when I was young, you know, um, we always in the classroom read in Flanders Fields. And if you get a chance, look it up and read it. Maybe it'll read a little different for you. I'll never forget the words. In Flanders Fields where poppies grow, amongst the crosses, row on row. It's pretty impactful.
Yeah.
With that, God bless the families of our military personnel that gave all. God bless our current troops. God bless our veterans. God bless our podcast. God bless America. Thank you all. Mad Dog out.
Let me be your everlasting light. Sun when there is none. I'm a shepherd for you, but I'll guide you through. Let me be your everlasting light.
Robbie,
That's how you end the podcast.